Hi, I'm going to talk about or make a video of an introduction to deep brain stimulation and if it takes away positive and negative symptoms. First of all, I'd like to explain what positive symptoms are, positive psychotic symptoms are, and negative psychotic symptoms are. Positive symptoms are symptoms, for example, delusions, false beliefs, hallucinations. Okay? That's when the brain overworks. Does more work than a healthy brain. So my brain actually overworks. It overloads more than yours does if you're a healthy person. Negative symptoms. When the brain underworks, for example, cognitive problems. When the brain does less than a healthy brain. So you have positive symptoms when the brain does more than a healthy brain, and negative symptoms when a brain does less than a healthy brain. Okay? That's the simplified way to say it. All right. So positive symptoms, positive psychotic symptoms, hallucinations, delusions, for example. Negative symptoms. Apathy and cognitive problems. All right. The question here in this video is, does deep brain stimulation take away all types of psychotic symptoms from produced or caused by schizophrenia? In my case, it does. Yes, it does. It has taken away my false beliefs or my delusions. It has taken away my hallucinations. It has taken away my how would I say this without saying the word that I'm thinking of right now? It has taken away my paranoid feelings. It has taken away my delusional mood. And it has taken away my apathy. When did it start to take effect? After the operation in February 2017. I started to get better. I don't remember much about the operation. I don't remember much. I really don't remember much at all. I remember a nurse in St. Paul shaving my head. Just shaving my head, taking all my hair off. And that was pretty traumatic. That was pretty traumatic. That was bad. I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. But it's supposed to be hygienic. It's supposed to be, clean and, you're supposed to have less problems if your head is shaved with no hair. I mean, absolutely no hair. Bald. Anyways, that's what I remember. The night before, my head was shaved. And that morning, I remember vaguely going into the operation room, very, very vaguely, very, very vaguely. I was so drugged up, so dead, so frozen, so absent in life. That I was not even aware, really, of what was going to happen. Was I aware of the decision I had made? Yes, I was. But at the same time, I was not really there. There was a part of me that was fighting against the disease, fighting to be in reality, fighting for hope, for a chance at life, not just a tomb or a catacomb. So that part of me that fought, which I call my insight, which is a word that you may not know if you're not in this world of mental illness and mental health and psychiatrists and doctors as such. Excuse me. Insight is the ability to be aware or conscious of the fact that you're sick and to know that what is happening to you is not healthy. It is not healthy. It is not balanced. It is not healthy. And I'm not going to say normal, because normal, that word, to be honest, is abused and used and over freaking rated. Because nobody is clinically normal. There is not one person on this planet who could be considered clinically sane. And that is a huge debate among psychiatrists as to who could be clinically considered sane. So, I'm sorry, but there's no one. Not even me. Now I forgot what I was going to say. This is what I was going to say. It takes away both negative and positive symptoms. When did I start to respond? I will tell you how I felt right after the operation, right after the implantation of the pulse generator. I woke up in the psychiatric unit of St. Paul. That was 2 days afterwards. I had been in the intensive care unit. I do not remember being there. I do not remember my ex-husband's sister giving me ice or water. I do not remember any of that at all. All I remember is waking up. Waking up 2 days afterwards and feeling excited for the first time in a million, zillion, billion years. In ages, I felt excited. I was not turned on, as the expression goes, as the saying goes among us DBS participants. The device was not turned on right away. It was turned on maybe a few days afterwards, just to make sure everything was okay. I don't remember exactly when. I will tell you that when it was turned on, I had this, how would I describe it to you so that you can understand it? When the device was turned on, when I was turned on, okay, I'm going to say me turned on because that's the way that's the way I perceive it, okay? And I don't know how the other DBS participants perceive it because I don't know them. And I've tried to know them. I've asked my researchers, my medical researchers, can I know the other participants? And they've said, no, you can't. It's not a good idea. Anyways, to get back to the point. My awakening was very, very pleasant. To be honest, it was the best separation I've ever had in my life. No pain. I didn't suffer. I wasn't even aware, really, of what was happening in the operation. I don't remember a thing. They put me to sleep completely. Completely. I woke up in my bed. I had these little stitches right here. Not stitches, more like staples. Excuse me. I'm sorry, but I keep, anyways. I had staples right here and right here. And did it hurt? No, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel anything. Maybe it's because I was still drugged up, but I didn't hurt. It didn't hurt one bit. I was just excited and happy and I was motivated. I thought to myself, I have hope. Someone like me actually has hope. Hope. Not to die alive, but to die of hope, passion, dreams. To die of stars in my eyes. A mere mortal's death, not breathing alive in a tomb, dead. because of schizophrenia, but alive and with a future. That's what I felt. I believe, if I remember correctly, I had to go to Barcelona every 2 weeks. Either every week or every 2 weeks. I don't remember exactly which one. I just know I went very, very, very often. Every week or 2 weeks I went to Barcelona. They checked my parameters. One of the first things I felt, and this goes against the technical manual, this goes against what usually happens, but when I was turned on, when the medical device, the pulse generator was turned on, I felt like and this is what I want to say before I forgot, I felt like a electric current going from here to here. And I looked at my ex-husband and I said to him, "What's going on? Why do I feel this? Why do I feel this? I don't get it." He says, "Don't worry, Lori, don't worry. This will go away, And it did go away after like 3 weeks. I started to improve very soon after the operation, but little by little, because the parameters were changed little by little. Have I had hospitalizations? Have I had episodes? I don't like the word episode. I really don't, because it doesn't quite describe what I go through when it happens. It doesn't describe it. I would just say when I get sick, okay? Have I gotten sick? Have I had hospitalizations? Yes, I have. But not because the neurostimulator did not work. And believe me, it does work. I've had it in the context of stress. I've had, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I've had so many freaking changes in my life. Because when you wake up, I'll give you an example of a hospitalization I had and the reason why I had it and why it was not DBS or why it was not the neurostimulator I was failing. In fact, the neurostimulator has only failed once ever since I've had it implanted. And that was in Montjuic in Barcelona. And I'll tell you the story of that really quick and then I'll get back to the point. I had just gone to St. Paul and I didn't know this, but when I got to Montjuic, I'd gone with my ex-husband to just have fun, see the castles, see history stories, castles and Spanish castles and, a pretty area, pretty hill, pretty mountain. And when I was there, I started feeling weird. I started feeling sick. In 5 minutes, I was feeling uncomfortable. In 10 minutes, I was suffering. And in 15 minutes, I was in hell. Or something beyond the word, which could possibly be translated as hell in any freaking language you can possibly imagine that could exist, the word hell. So what did I do? I went running back to St. Paul, and you know what had happened? I had turned off. My medical device had turned off. And in 15 minutes, I was psychotic. What does that mean to be psychotic? It means you lose contact with reality. Does that mean that you are uncontrollable, No, it doesn't. It just means you lose contact with reality and you're not able to function. You can't do something as simple as taking a car, taking a bus, walking, being around people. You can't do anything. One time, one of my doctors once said to me, when I was suffering from a very light relapse because of stress, again, he once said to me, "You wouldn't survive one day out of this hospital." I'm like, ooh. And it's true. Without DBS, without some form of treatment, I would not survive one day outside of a hospital. I would have to be hospitalized for the rest of my life. I could not be doing this. I could not be making videos. I could not be living an independent life. Back to the point. Back to what I was saying before. I talked about Montjuic, which is in Barcelona. I was hospitalized. Okay, and this hospitalization is very special. Very, very special, and I'll tell you why. When they started taking away my medication, I started waking up, not being so absent. I had started waking up before that, even literally, even before taking away my medication, even before starting to wean me off it, I had started waking up. What does that mean? I started becoming aware, conscious of life, of passion, of love, of everything that, good, bad, you name it, life. And finally one day, and without even knowing that this was going to happen, with no notice, no warning, it wasn't, you start to get sick little by little by little by little, and you get sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker little by little by little. No, it was like that. I got sick like that. And what do I mean by sick? I started crying and crying and crying and crying. I could not stop crying because I had woken up completely and realized that I lost years, decades, almost decades, a little over, 15 years, from 25 to 35, which was when I was operated on. So I was 36 when this happened. I had lost 16 years to schizophrenia, and when I woke up and I realized that, it hit me so hard that I had like a heart attack. Literally, my chest hurt so much that I can imagine very well what heart attacks are like without having really had one. So what did I do? I was so depressed. And the word is not depressed. I just could not stop crying. Tears just came falling down like water out of a kitchen spout. You turn that spout on, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. And there was no way to turn it off. There's no way to press a button or push it down or turn that water spout off or close it. And I went to St. Paul with my best friend at that time, and I was crying on the train. I was crying in the appointment. I was crying at the appointment. I remember Dr. McKenna saying to me, Dr. Peter McKenna, saying, well, he wasn't saying this to me. He was saying to the other doctors, other researchers, he was saying, antidepressant. And I'm thinking to myself, why do you always have to prescribe an antidepressant every time someone cries? Maybe I need something else. Maybe it's not always medication that you need. Maybe medication is only at certain points in time, certain specific situations. And I got a little irritated with him when he said antidepressant, looking at Dr. Caripio. I'm like, anyways, that's not disrespectful. It's just what I was thinking at the time. But I kept crying and crying and crying. So what did Dr. Caripio do, the head of research? She said to me, I'm hospitalizing you, but I'm not giving you one freaking antidepressant pill, not one antidepressant pill, not one tranquilizer, not one Valium, nothing. You have to go through this by yourself, but in a hospital, so that you don't kill yourself or commit suicide. In the meanwhile, in the process, so that you don't kill yourself. And what happened? She hospitalized me in St. Paul. I was there for 3 weeks. What did I do during those 3 weeks? I screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed because the pain in my chest at waking up and realizing that I had lost my youth, the best years of my life, to this horrendous, disgusting, insidious disease, hurt so freaking much that I could not stop screaming because I went from crying to screaming. And I remember all the nurses at St. Paul were like, Lori, it'll help you, it'll help you, it'll help you. Scream, Lori, scream, keep screaming. It's going to help you. Keep screaming, Lori. We're cheering you on. We're cheering you on. We're your number one fans. The nurses were my number one fans. And the other patients were like, whoa, we can hear this woman all the way in the hallway. You could hear me screaming everywhere in the psychiatric unit. Everywhere. And even with the door closed, you could hear me screaming. Number one, I was screaming very loud. Number two, I'm a soprano one. So, yeah, when I scream, I scream. But one day, before I had stopped screaming, but at the beginning of the hospitalization, a very special researcher, medical researcher of mine called Dr. McKenna, or Dr. M, as I call him. He is very special to me. He gives me this dopey look. Anyways, he came to visit me every Monday at 7 p.m. as usual in the hospital. And I believe soon after I was hospitalized, he came on a Monday to see me. And he said to me, how are you feeling today? And I said to him, I wish I were dead. He looked at me, he said, after all the progress we've made, you don't have the right to do that. You can't. After all the progress we've made, you don't have the right. You don't have the right. And then he said to me, you won't always feel this way. And then he said something that you would never expect from a world-renowned researcher such as him. He said to me, I admire you. That was very sweet of him to say that. But what he said to me, when he said to me, you don't have the right, got me thinking up here, not right here, right here. It took away the attention from my heart, from the pain, from the intense, severe anguish and pain to my brain, to my thinking processes. And I started thinking, I thought to myself, wait a minute. I have to fight this. I have to fight this. I cannot let this kill me. I cannot let this eat me alive. I've got to fight. I've got to do it for myself, for my husband, for my family, for my son, and for the people who are waiting for this operation, for the people who are wondering if it will help them too, for the people who need to know about it. Because I remember what Dr. Cooper once said to me, and we talk this way, okay? So what I'm going to say to you is very, very direct, and you might find it cold. You might find this, you might think, ooh, how could she say this to me? Me as a patient, her as a doctor. But you know what? I'm happy she talks this way to me. I'm happy I talk this way to her. I'm happy we have this clear, direct, and open relationship. That's just the relationship we have. She said to me after the hospitalization, that specific hospitalization in June 2018, because it was like 3.5 weeks. At the end of the hospitalization, in the last appointment, she says to me, Lori, she says to me, if you hurt yourself, meaning if I, do this on purpose, okay? I'm not talking about trying to get someone's attention. I'm not talking about suicide attempts. I'm not talking about attempts. I mean actually doing it and succeeding. That's what I'm talking about. If you do this, she said to me, not only this investigation, but any other investigation that comes out of the results of this research will make no sense. Will absolutely make no sense whatsoever. And you will literally, it will literally just stop research in this area, because people will say, you cured this girl of schizophrenia. You took away her symptoms. Look what she did. She killed herself. Look what happened. And they'll think that it was a side effect of DBS instead of thinking that it might have been stress. So when she said that to me, I will tell you something that has never happened to me before and hasn't happened again. My pupils literally went like that. I could feel my pupils literally widening out like an umbrella under the rain. Like when you open an umbrella under the rain, it goes boop, like that. My pupils just went like that. And I was like, oh my God, what did she just say to me? And that scared the shit out of me. It scared the absolute shit out of me. So this is an example of when I had a breakdown and why. Later on, Dr. Creeper explained to me, she said to me, this has happened to all of you. All of the 8 of us in this clinical trial. We're a very, very small sample of participants. 8, only 8 in this first clinical trial. I started participating in the year of 2017 to the year of 2018. That was my clinical trial year. So this is an example. Again, I'm repeating myself, and I'm going to say this again to make this clear. This is an example of how circumstances can create a hospitalization, and it has nothing, I mean absolutely nothing to do with DBS. Nothing. It's life. Just life. And when you wake up and you start to be more aware, more conscious of what's happening to you in life, you start feeling stress. And believe me, when I started feeling stress, when I was taking off medication, and I started actually having emotions again and feeling stress, that was a bomb. Because I hadn't felt stress in years. And when I say I hadn't felt stressed, meaning in some way, shape, or form, the medication that I was taking drugged me up so much that I was frozen and dead and numb to the point that even though I suffered, I could not express it, and I didn't feel it much. I didn't feel it much here. I suffered. I suffered in my heart, but I couldn't express it, and I didn't really feel the suffering. How do I say this? I suffered a great deal to the point of wanting to have my head open up with an operation, but stress, everyday life stress, I didn't feel it. Okay? So I felt stress from the psychotic symptoms and anguish from the psychotic symptoms, but I did not feel stress from everyday life. Okay? Because I was just out there. Okay? Especially the last 6 years with clozapine. And that was one of the requirements of the clinical trial, that you had to have been with clozapine at least 2 years, strictly taking the pills. None of that, oh, I feel better, no, I'm not going to take it. None of that, oh, I forget my pills. None of that, oh, I stopped taking my pills because side effects. And believe me, clozapine has tons, at least in my case, tons of side effects. So I entered the trial because I didn't respond to clozapine. And anyways, to get back to the point, what I was saying. I will end this video, okay? I believe I've said enough. Yeah, I've said enough. It's been half an hour. I will end this video and say this. Once they took me off medication, weaned me off medication, that's another video. That's another video. I will tell you about it in the next video. I will tell you about it in the next video, okay?